everybody, and welcome to yet another video, and welcome to yet another review video. Today we are reviewing yet another Conan the Barbarian comic book, but it is not the Conan the Barbarian series by Jim Zub. It's the other Conan the Barbarian series by Jim Zub. It's the Savage Sword of Conan, published by Titan Comics and written by Jim Zub and various writers illustrated it. Now, it is pretty much a continuation of the Savage Sword of Conan series that has been coming out in various forms by various publishers for decades and decades and decades already. And it differs from one or the other Conan the Barbarian comic book title in that it is an anthology, mostly, and it is black and white. Now, I have not read many of the Savage Sword of Conan comic book anthologies in my life. What I have mostly read and enjoyed is the original stories by Robert E. Howard. This is what I'm all about. You might know it if you've been following me for quite some time. I have read my share of the comic book adaptations, either the original comic books by Marvel, then published by Dark Horse, and then by Marvel again, and now by Titan Comics. Now, thanks Jim Zub and Titan Comics for providing me with the advanced copy of Savage Sword of Conan, issue 10, I believe it is. And I have not read the previous issues. I have been postponing it. That is a crime, I know, a crime against humanity which shall be remedied. Now, I have got on pre-order some upcoming collected editions and box sets that will help me catch up with the title. Now, I have to say, first and foremost, one thing. Page 2, page 1 really, is an advertisement for yet another Conan, but the Barbarian action figure. This time, a direct adaptation in an action figure form of the Battle of the Black Stone storyline by Jim Zub and I think Roberto de la Torre. And it looks glorious. I think I will need to add it to my collection. I've recently received a lot of Conan figures. There's been a resurgence of them, but we are not talking about action figures here, are we? It is all in vein of the Year of the Snake, and it really fits the theme of Conan the Barbarian and a lot of the stories, since in a lot of the stories we are dealing with Stygia and Stygians and Set and the Serpent God, which in Egyptian mythology, Set was really an unidentifiable animal. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing some words. English is still my second language, shush. But here it is a serpent god, and since we have the Year of the Snake this year, they kind of combined it. Even if you look at the most famous adaptation, right, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the villains are revolved around the cult of the snake, the cult of the serpent, and so the three stories we do have in this collection all revolve around the sect of the followers of the Serpent God. One of the stories is a continuation of a story from issues 17 and 18 of Conan the Barbarian, which I do like because it makes you read both the titles. It's a very good move, right? Good writing move, good business move, excellent. The other one is Fang and Spear, which is an adaptation of Robert E. Howard's story, his first officially published story. It was called, I think, was the other way around, Spear and Fang. And the last one is like a typical, like pure-blooded pulp story about a sailor. But once again, there's a serpent, quote-unquote, god in it. So, in the continuation of the story that started in issues 17 and 18 in Conan the Barbarian, the main quote-unquote title, it is a continuation of a side story, really quote-unquote, when Conan was traveling with Belit and they were captured and attacked by ruffians, and I don't want to spoil it, something happens, and he wants revenge, right? So he's in a pub somewhere in a city, and he sees the person upon whom he wants to take revenge. Alas, of course, very typically for a Conan story, things aren't as they seem to be, and that particular person is not who she seems to be, and Conan the Barbarian gets into the midst of mayhem and carnage, and the god Serpent and his or her followers, and it's all very action-packed, and like, as I said, multiple times, on multiple occasions in my Conan the Barbarian by Jim Zub's stories, he is really replicating the style and the writing of Robert E. Howard very well, much better than many other authors that throughout the years have tried to write Conan stories, either in a comic book form or prose form. Haven't really managed that much. I always mention the latest one that I tried to read. After that, I'm really not interested in reading any more prose that is not about Conan, that is not written by the master, Robert E. Howard himself. Chad Dixon, I mean, he tried to publish a Conan novel, and just very clumsily written. It's kind of an unnaturally replicating Robert E. Howard's style. You can see that, and it's just not the thing. I put it away. I couldn't finish it. This, however, once again, very, very good. The art itself is a nice refreshment after having read the Conan the Barbarian issues, because this is black and white, and it's got its pros and cons. It's definitely more suitable for pulp stories, anthologies, than like the main quote-unquote series. But at the same time, as it is with black and white artwork that is so detailed, you have to pay attention, because some things can like slip your field of vision. You just don't notice them. It's very much different from, for example, many of the manga that I have read, which of course is black and white, but they do not all the time, at all times, focus on so many details. They do point out the details that they need and want to show in the story, but because it is published so in such a grand scale and speed, they just have to sometimes just do it quickly and find ways to do it more simply without so many details. But all the same, I mean, the artwork is glorious. I have been and will try to be posting some pictures here. I will, of course, not show everything, nor will I show the majority of it. So the second story, adapting the first published story by Robert E. Howard, is drawn by a different artist, and is once again very, very good for anthologies. You've got a little bit of a artistic visual diversity there, and it's a nice little short story that really, really makes you think. It's about serpent people, right? Serpent people taking the shape of humans, replacing humans. And you have to say, oh, the V TV show about the snake alien people wearing human skin, they must have been inspired by this. Although, I don't think that it is particularly and just and only Robert E. Howard's idea, since this has already become kind of an archetype in science fiction and fantasy, has it not? The serpent people, right? Some people even believe that they truly exist and live among us. And who says it isn't true, right? But it is set in the prehistoric times. I remember, now I'm not sure if I have read the original story by Robert E. Howard, but I know that it's about two tribes of like cavemen, Neanderthals, and the other ones. I probably haven't read it. But I do remember something, so I must have. Nevertheless, the artwork is a little bit less detailed here, so it's more comprehensible as far as the first glance goes. But I wouldn't say that one is better than the other. Now I'm looking at some of the spreads and saying, yeah, it's pretty bloody detailed. And the last short story is about a sailor who encounters a woman who is being robbed, and the thieves, they want to rob her of a serpent ring. Right? The Year of the Serpent. And the artwork, this one is by Roberto de la Torre, the one who drew the initial stories in the New Titan comics, is like the quote-unquote mainline Conan the Barbarian. So you can see, I mean, it strikes me interesting. I'm no artist by any stretch of imagination. I mean, I paint Warhammer miniatures, but I'm really not much of a drawing person myself. I mean, I can do caricatures, but that's all. But what I've noticed is that where you can instantly recognize an artist if he or she has got a certain style is either the nose or the eyes. And you can definitely recognize Roberto de la Torre's style by looking at the characters' noses. It's fascinating. I couldn't but think of Popeye, the entire short story that I was reading. I mean, it might have been intentional, might not, but I could definitely imagine this particular sailor, this particular guy, being like a modern, rough, dark and gritty interpretation of Popeye, the character. I wouldn't mind that. It was really actually looks very good. Yeah. So despite the last short story not being entirely my cup of tea as far as the genre goes, I'm more of a like proper sword and sorcery, high fantasy Conan the Barbarian type of guy. I do appreciate it, and I have enjoyed it. And there was a doggo in it. You know I like my doggies. Bulldogs and Sharpies especially. So, excellent. Jim Zub, come on, man. I mean, you sending me the advanced reading copies is just making me spend more money, because now I have to go and not only get the collected editions, but also the single issues. As if I needed to spend more money. However, absolutely great read, a relaxing read, a nice break from reading all the novels that I read. Absolutely do recommend. The main, I don't know if it's the main one, but I suppose, one of the covers was drawn by Mike Mignola. Now, come on. Only one of the best or my favorite artists ever. Gotta get that. Alright then, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Are you reading this title? Are you reading the other title? Are you going to catch up? As I will. Let me know all about it. And then we'll thank you very much for watching. And I'm out of here.